episode 36. Today we're going to talk about the mistakes you can make at Universal that might ruin your trip.
Thank you for listening to The Adventures of Two Gray Mice.
I'm Meg.
And I'm Rob.
And we are Two Gray Mice.
Thanks for joining us. Episode 36. 36?
36.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 36. Today we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes people make when they're visiting Universal Orlando Resort, which is the official name of the place. These are one that can possibly wreck your day, and maybe not, but, have a better chance of ruining it or getting it off on the wrong foot than not. It's all right. I'm losing my voice again.
We have to explain. So the weather here over the past 2 weeks has been either really nice or really not nice. And it's either been warm, partly cloudy, but yet dry, or cloudy, cold, and damp. And it's been cycling back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, wreaking havoc with someone's voice.
Yes, well, and the trees are now in bloom, so it's, we're entering allergy season.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
So I love Universal's parks. We had one of our podcasts dedicated to our visit to Epic Universe. We spoke quite in depth about how much we loved it. But the other two parks are fantastic. But there's a lot more to see than people think there is. And Meg is going to take us through the possible pitfalls that could turn a delightful day in the park into something not so delightful. And why do you want that? You want to enjoy yourselves.
That is true. So there are 3 parks now, or Universal will tell you there's 4. There are now 3 parks that consist of Universal Orlando Resort. The 2 original parks, Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure. Then we have the water park, Volcano Bay. And then after that, you have the brand new park that just opened last year. At this point, it's been open a year.
Yes, a year.
Epic Universe. The initial 3 parks are all right next to each other. The 2 main theme parks are connected by a walkway shopping restaurant area called City Walk. And Volcano Bay is separated from them, but kind of at the end of Hotel Row. Mm-hmm. It's actually attached or butts up against Cabana Bay. So just give me an idea. But then about 3 miles away, I actually don't know how many miles it is. Down one road, you're going to have Epic Universe and its 3 hotels. So the first time we were at Universal was almost 35 glorious, fun-filled years ago.
Yeah.
Universal was originally just studios and was modeled after Universal Hollywood with the tram tour and Jaws ride and all that fun stuff.
And all that fun stuff. I mean, it's gone through many, many changes.
Right.
Over the past 30 years.
Right. So the first thing we all need to know is, like every theme park, there's an app. There's a Universal app. You're going to download it to your phone. It's going to give you all the information that you need to know. It's going to allow you to mobile order. It's going to tell you when the park opens to the general public. We
want to just push out the fact that mobile ordering is fantastic, and Universal does it just as good as Disney does it. And it's a great way to refuel, but refuel on a tight schedule.
On a much quicker basis, yeah.
Yeah, and definitely try it out.
So the first thing you do when you arrive is you're going to look at the Universal app and find out when the park that you're going to opens that day. If you're staying on property, you get early admission. It's an hour, which is kind of nice. At Disney, it's only a half hour. Epic Universe will open for hotel guests an hour early every day. Volcano Bay usually opens about a half hour early. Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure open an hour early, but they switch which park opens, which is why you need to check the app. Because if on Sunday, Universal Studios opened early, then on Monday, Islands of Adventure will be.
Right. And the last time we were down there, when we visited Epic Universe,
yep.
They actually changed the times on us. But it was very, very late at night. It was after we had looked to see what time the park was opening the following day.
And what was the preview? So it wasn't in the app, right?
Correct.
Until the next morning, so then we were very confused. We ended up showing up about 15 minutes before the park opened for the general public instead of early admission.
Instead of the early admission like we were shooting for.
Right.
They've ironed that out.
Mm-hmm.
But
that showed us the importance of getting there during early admission.
Sure. We can't make enough of a point of the fact that Universal has a lot of big ticket rides. And depending upon what you want to do, what you want to see, staying on property, quote unquote, and getting that hour is gold.
Oh, completely.
Is absolute gold.
Completely.
We'll tell you because the big ticket rides fill up so fast. And if you don't get there, let's say you're staying off property. You don't get there when it opens, half hour before it opens. That's the minimum you want to budget.
Yep.
Because we've done that before. We showed up literally, I think it was 15 minutes after opening. It was one of the slowest days that we've ever had there.
Yeah, when we went for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because we were staying on Disney property, so we didn't have early admission for Universal Orlando, so it just made the whole day, like right off the bat, before the gates even opened, Hagrid's was at 120 minutes.
Yep.
10 minutes after the gates opened, it was at 2 hours. And that's the key. So when you go to whatever park you're going to be going to, you have to know what is your I must go on this ride.
Yeah.
So if it's Hagrid, you want to be at the gate minimum 30 minutes before early admission. You want to be right by where they enter, which is commonly far to the right.
You want to have studied the map carefully so you know where you're running.
Right. Not running, walking quickly. There is a shortcut through Seuss if you kind of scooch a little bit to the left and around the crowds. But that's beside the point. And then, so you can get to Hagrid's. Same thing for Epic Universe. Where do you want to go? Are you heading to Mario? Or are you heading over to Darkmoor? For Epic, they keep changing what rides, not all 5 worlds, open at early admission, but they keep changing what is opening.
Right. They keep doing that. We're not sure why. Maybe it's just to keep everyone's attention, but it varies from hotel to hotel. And from world to world.
It's just world to world, yeah.
And again, that's one of those things where having the app is great. Tapping into it right before you put your phone away for the night, because
and in the morning
you put your phone away.
It will tell you what's open.
Yep.
Mario Land, Nintendo World usually opens. Darkmoor's been opening. Burke has not been opening. Harry Potter was opening, then wasn't, now is again. And I think it has a lot to do with some of these rides are still having some quirks, and I think some of it's having to do with what ride has less quirks. I don't know.
I think, thinking some more about what's going on in a lot of the rides at Universal. A lot of checkpoints, a lot of sensors. Everything's got to be great. Everything's got to be fine. Everything's got to be perfect.
Oh, like you said to me, talking to the folks over at Star Wars, Rise of the Resistance. If someone drops a piece of paper because it's all these sensors on the floor out of their pocket, or their hat comes off their head and hits the deck, that turns the ride off. Because now it's in the way of the sensors, and the big ride vehicle gets lost and confused, so it turns everything off. And, we all know people do silly things like that.
So we'll talk about that right now, because Epic is very much Universal in general is very much the type of park where if you go in packing heavy, you're going to have a difficult time. Almost all the rides have a 40-inch or 42-inch minimum height. There are lockers, and they're very, very insistent on it. And trust us, you want nothing in your pockets on some of these rides.
Well, some of the rides you can't have anything in your pockets.
Everything's got to go into a locker. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're one of those people that packs a fanny pack will fit in their lockers. Some of the larger over-the-shoulder crossovers, you might have a bit of a challenge getting into these lockers.
Yep.
So keep that in mind as well. But it's just they're fun parks.
Oh, they're great parks,
and they're amazing rides.
Yeah.
But I find for me it's almost more important with Universal to really ask yourself, what do you want to do? What do you want to see? What rides do you want to go on?
Yeah, and we did, like, when the five of us went, we didn't have enough conversations about that.
Yeah.
Because somebody else was taking the lead on those 2 days, and we only had a plan for the 2 Wizarding World lands, and we didn't have a plan for anything else, which is why I think Timmy ended up having such a miserable time. But who knows? But
we say to people right now that it's a 8 day, 7 night adventure if you want to see everything and do everything there is to do from what Universal has to offer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you just think about it, they have 4 parks. How many parks does Disney have? 4 parks. If you could do a week at Disney, you can definitely do a week at Universal. But going back to the hotels briefly, which is going to give you the early admission, and Rob, actually now I can't remember if he said it on mic or if he said, or just before we talked, but all the hotels besides Endless Summer, Surfside and Dockside, have either a boat or a walking trail that will take you to City Walk. They also all have buses too. But if you're not a bus person, like we walked every day from Cabana Bay to City Walk and into the parks.
Right.
And the one day we were exhausted, we took the boat back to Sapphire Falls, and there is a bridge that goes over the road to safely go to Cabana Bay. I hear about people running across the street all the time.
There's no need.
It's a little out of the way, but there's a bridge.
That's one of the things that I think, that's one of the things I think Universal really got right. Way more so than Disney. All of their hotels, you can either get a very quick bus anywhere, or you can walk. And the vast majority of them, we're talking no more than a 20-minute walk. And I have to say, when we stayed at Cabana Bay, that walk in the morning and in the afternoon coming back,
it's a beautiful walk. First of all, it's all through not woods, but landscaped area and canals.
Occasionally the boats go by.
And you walk past Sapphire Falls and you walk past Royal Pacific. So it's a beautiful walk. It's really enjoyable. Now, we're walkers. If you aren't walkers, it's probably maybe a 7-minute bus ride. The buses are constantly coming through.
Yeah.
And now there's 2 buses. One to City Walk, because you go to City Walk to go to Volcano Bay or the 2 parks, and then one to Epic. Easy peasy. And when I stayed at Endless Summer, I was in Dockside. I think it was 10 minutes to the parks. No more.
Yeah.
And maybe we waited 5 minutes for the bus. So it's really worth it. Now, the OG parks have their different tiers of hotels. You have their, I'm going to call it a deluxe resort hotel. Hard Rock, Royal Pacific, and Portofino Bay. They have just made Sapphire Falls part of their deluxe resorts. It really deserves it. It's that level. But the first three are the OG ones, and what's special about those three is they come with something that we're about to talk about next. The Express Pass.
Yes. And just to set the record straight, they refer to them as the Signature Collection.
Thank you, dear.
Well, that's what it says.
I know
here
it is. I know.
My handy dandy laptop.
Yep, it is a Signature Collection. I can never remember how they break them up into the things. They have like value, something else, mid-range. Anyway.
Yeah, and if you can't keep it straight, I have no hope of keeping it straight.
Right. And part of the Signature Collection is also the new Helios Grand, but that does not have Express Pass. That does not come with it. And Sapphire does not come with it either. That's something to keep in mind.
But lots of bonuses with these resorts. As Meg was saying.
Yeah. Well, and like when you're looking at staying off property, Disney, Universal, I don't care where you're staying, something to always keep in mind. When you book Universal, if you brought your own car, you're going to pay for parking. Okay? When you go to the parks, you're going to pay for parking. That's just the way it is because the hotels are run by Lowe's, so you're not run by Universal. At Disney, you don't pay for parking. But you have to take in consideration your hotel room, your resort fee, your parking, and if you're renting a car. And if you're doing the entire week at Universal and you stay at a Universal hotel, you don't need to rent a car. So you don't need to pay for parking. So yes, the hotel may be slightly more expensive, but in the end, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And Cabana Bay and Endless Summers are not more expensive than the hotels nearby.
No, not at all. And we've discussed this. I'd go back to Cabana Bay.
Yeah.
I love to try new places.
Well, Sapphire Falls is supposed to be wonderful. That's my next one.
I would go back to Cabana Bay in a heartbeat. What a fun theme.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the place.
It's a nice sized room.
Nice sized room, super clean.
Food
good
was great.
Food. Yeah. We had a
great.
lovely time while we were there.
Yep. Has a bowling alley. Can't beat that.
Has a bowling. Yeah, you can't. You can't.
So once you're there, especially if it's the busier time of year, you need to understand Universal Express Pass, which is, if you are only been to Disney, basically is lightning lanes. They're very different in the sense that you don't need to make a reservation for your ride. There's a separate line. You just walk up, you show your Express Pass, and you walk through the line. They're going to guarantee you that the wait is at least 50% shorter than whatever the standby queue is.
So still be prepared for some of the big ticket rides like Velocicoaster, the Incredible Hulk.
It might be a longer line.
Yeah.
Hagrid's actually.
Sure.
Hagrid's was not on the Express Pass until last year. It's been open for 5 years.
Right. For
that reason, because they knew it would just aggravate people when they still had an hour wait on the Express line. That's it. Like I said, the signature hotels come with the Express Pass. Because it runs differently, it's not $35 a day per person. They run from $179 to $350 a day per person.
Yeah, no, I didn't understand that when you gave me the paperwork to read for this podcast.
Right.
It was a lot of paper, folks.
So the Universal Express Pass, so me and you were going, right? And we got a Universal Express Pass in August when it's the cheapest because it's hot as the surface of the sun. Okay? For one day, for one park, one of the OG parks, it might be $120 a day on top of the cost of the ticket.
But this is if we were staying off-site.
No.
Staying on-site.
Anywhere besides the signature hotels. Those
see.
3 signature hotels get it included. Everywhere else has to pay. No, that's why told me to ask questions.
Bing.
Right. So Volcano Bay has an express pass. And those 3 signature hotels only have express passes to the 2 OG parks, not to Epic Universe.
Well, that's boo-hoo.
That's boo-hoo.
When's that going to change?
Who knows? If you have an annual pass, you still can't get an annual pass to Epic Universe. They're still restricting the flow of humans into the building, as they try things out.
That part of it, I get.
Right.
Gonna do a little segue right here. Epic Universe is just
epic,
amazing, just amazing. The next time you're down in Orlando, if you haven't been, you have to go. Just carve out a day. Well, carve out 2 if you can, but if you can't, carve out a day. It's going to be a busy day, but it's an amazing park.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep. So the 2 different kinds of express passes they have the regular, which allows you to enter that special line for each ride once. So you get to ride Velocicoaster once. You get to go into ET.
Do that? Is there
once.
a magic band or
there's an actual a ticket, a scanning ticket. When we go there, you very often see people wearing lanyards.
I hate lanyards.
I know you do. And that has their ticket inside of it.
Yeah.
If they have express pass,
so you walk up and you go boop.
Yep. Express Pass will have that ticket too. Or if you buy it at the same time, it's on your ticket. Or you can get an unlimited one, which means you can go on to however many rides as many times as you want all day long.
You could ride the Hulk
5 million times. You can just go on and off all day long.
I can't see 5 million.
No, neither can I. The signature hotels give you the unlimited version of this.
Which is Helios,
no,
Portofino Bay, and Sapphire Falls.
No.
That's what it says here, signature.
They are signatures, yes, but the 3 original ones are Hard Rock, Portofino Bay, and Royal Pacific. Those 3 are the only ones that give you the Express Pass. The other 2 are signature hotels, but you don't get the Express Pass.
She's shaking her finger at me, by the way.
You can get a 3-park multi-day one, where you actually includes Epic. They start at $269. You can get a 2-park one that's just Islands Adventure and Universal Studios. You can get one that's just Volcano Bay. The Volcano Bay ones are pretty cheap. They start at like $50 or something. So it all kind of depends on how you're vacationing and what's important to you. And it can get complicated. And same thing with their tickets that go with these. They have 3-day tickets, 5-day tickets, this kind of ticket, that ticket. Tickets are only good for 1 park, 2 parks, 3 parks.
But we want to add at this point that they do a really good job of laying all that out. When you go on their website and you start poking around, they really lay out what's included, what's not included in a very matter-of-fact way.
Right.
Clear. Concise. So again,
read the fine print.
Again, it's another one of those situations where you want to identify exactly what it is that you want to do and what you want to experience while you're there.
Right. Now, like I said, there's no return time. When you buy this, you can pick it for 1 day or 5 days, but you buy it for a specific day. So you have to know what day you want to use this. You can call and get a little leeway sometimes if you change your Universal Studios day from Monday to Tuesday, but you can't change it to 2 months from now. What people do wrong is they don't buy it if they can afford it. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Then follow our other tips and tricks to get on the rides and make sure you get there early. The price fluctuates, like we said earlier. So to give you an idea, if we actually had recorded this on Sunday, the Express Pass for Epic Universe would have been $340.
Which is a lot of money.
Especially when you start times you get buy 2 or 3 or 4. At the same time, it sells out. The reason why it works is they don't sell it and just keep selling it and just keep selling it the way Disney does. They stop. They have a limit. So no Express Passes are available from this past Sunday until April 11th. they're sold out. And on April 11th, when they come back, they're $310. So you need to, when you book your vacation, you want to think about this and you want to buy it in advance. The other thing to take into consideration is if you're going spring break, you got 2 people or a family of 4, $300 a piece, add that together, get a quote from Royal Pacific or Portofino Bay or Hard Rock, and I bet it's cheaper to stay there and get 2 days of free tickets, Express Pass, than it is to buy 2 days of Express Pass. Because it's good the day you check in and it's good the day you check out.
Yeah.
So basically, you will only have to stay there one night to get 2 days of Express Pass.
Now, I've only stayed at Cabana Bay.
Right.
But Universal has many different...
and Stella.
Yeah. And Stella. Thank you. Forgot about Stella.
Yeah, How
can I forget about Stella?
Because you were thinking about all the old ones.
But both of our stays in both of those hotels were fantastic. The hotels were fantastic. And you go online and you read reviews for their other hotels. They're all really good.
Yeah. They're run by Lowe's. Lowe's is a an excellent hotel brand. And they run a tight ship and a really good hotel. Okay. Our next mistake. Rob kind of already alluded to this. Packing like you're going to Disney.
No bueno.
No bueno. They're very different parks. Like Rob said, you can't go on every ride with the bag on your back. You also can't bring food in. You can't bring a cooler in. Can't bring a lunchbox in. Nope. You can bring a water bottle.
Water up to 2 liters.
That's it.
But that's it. And don't expect to have that water bottle on you on an awful lot of the live action rides. Now, they do have lockers right there when you enter the park.
That are for rent.
That are for rent. And they're very large. You can fit an awful lot of stuff in them. They're much larger lockers than you're going to find anywhere else in the park.
Correct.
So, travel, as we said, travel light. Figure out exactly what you need to bring with you and bring that.
Yep. And yeah, I bring a much smaller crossbody or fanny pack when we go. Obviously, if you have a baby, you can bring in formula, you can bring in baby food. If you have medical necessities, all that you can bring in. That's completely different.
There are a couple of sit-down restaurants throughout the parks, but I think the first 2 parks,
yeah,
those are really more like nosh kind of parks.
Yeah, more quick service. Yeah, they aren't. Universal's not known for their good food. They've gotten better.
No,
they've gotten a lot better. When we first went, the food was a little shaky. Got a little better. It's gotten a lot better in the past 5 years or so. A lot better. So many rides have no bags at all. Some rides have nothing in your pockets. And what I mean by nothing in your pockets.
Period.
When you go on Velocicoaster, when you go on Stardust Racers, when you go on Incredible Hulk, you will go through a metal detector. And if you go off, then you have to take your vape pen out of your pocket and put it back in the locker that you just walked past. Or whatever it may be.
It's embarrassing. Like there's dings that go off and there's lights that flash and stuff.
And you walk past.
They're totally serious.
These rides all have their individual lockers that you can put your stuff into. They are not large. A wand will not fit in a lot of these. Sometimes you can kind of get it in there. I can get mine in. Depends on the length of your wand.
Right. That's a big deal.
Some of these there are very small crossbodies that you can go on some of these rides with, like Hagrid's, you can wear crossbody on it, or a small fanny pack. It's not going to be comfortable.
No, it's not going to be comfortable.
And if you're like me, that you want to make sure that you're really locked in there, then you maybe not.
Yeah, so you want to travel light.
But Harry Potter, Escape from Gringotts, Revenge of the Mummy, Men in Black, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, Hagrid's, Incredible Hulk, Velocicoaster, Stardust Racers, Monsters Unchained, Hiccups Wing Gliders, and Curse of the Werewolf all have lockers right by the rides for you to ditch your stuff before you get on.
And you want to ditch your stuff.
You want to ditch your stuff.
Because they only go out there like once or twice a day to retrieve things.
Once a day, actually. It's at the end of the day when the park closes.
I just remember the first time we went down there, Mickey was walking us through, and we took the bridge going from Seuss Land.
Oh, with the kids?
Oh, yeah.
Not the honeymoon. Right after, it was like 6 months after Islands Adventure opened.
And we walked underneath the Hulk.
Right.
And there's all these nets.
And you were like, what's the nets for?
I didn't need to ask the question. You look up and there's wallets, cell phones, sunglasses. There's all this stuff in the nets.
This was before they had lockers and before they were like, take everything out of your pockets, please.
And our friend Mickey's like, yeah, they really only go out there like once a day to retrieve everything. And I was like, so you have to come back here the following day to get your stuff? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
So when they tell you to remove everything from your pockets, they're very, very serious. And I have to say, okay, so as far as Velocicoaster goes.
That was a one and done for Rob.
No, not necessarily. At this point, I've forgotten most of the terror, so I would probably go back on. I definitely wouldn't go to Potterland and nosh where we noshed out in that back patio right next to where the Velocicoaster is listening to people scream and scream and scream every time the ride cycled through. Yeah, I would definitely hit Velocicoaster first.
Gotcha.
I'm still trying to work up my nerve to go on Hulk.
All right, you've never been on the Hulk.
I've never been on Hulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of these rides, they hit like 1 or 2 points during the ride where you're at 0 G and upside down. And things slip out, fall off. I'm always terrified with my glasses. Like, I want everything strapped to my head.
Right. Well, you very often take your glasses off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of ruins the experience
because everything's blurry.
Everything's blurry.
Yeah.
For me, it's scarier when it's blurry. I don't.
Right. And these lockers are also a good idea for some of the water rides, though some of them have like a holding area in the ride for your stuff. Fire Drill has one. Pluto's has one.
So here's a big difference between Universal and Disney. Disney has water rides. Universal also has water rides.
You actually get really wet.
Do not get on any Universal water ride thinking that you're going to get off lightly, because you will not. You will get wet or very wet.
As the case may be.
Yep. But the big difference is when you get out of the ride, there usually are drying huts.
Right, which Kate was very appreciative of, because actually someone will get wet. Someone in your party will get very wet.
No, I'm sorry.
We all got wet.
Yeah. Kate
but one person got very wet.
Yes, very wet.
Every ride, Kate got very wet.
I mean, we're talking like wring it out, water coming out kind of wet.
It was hilarious.
It truly was. One of those moments where you really wanted to have the video camera rolling because you just wanted to replay that over and over again when you're feeling kind of glum or down in the dumps. Just flip that on. Watch your daughter getting approximately 200 gallons of water
dumped on her head.
Yeah.
It was perfect. So one of the other mistakes I was going to mention was just wandering around the parks and doing things in the wrong order. There really isn't a wrong order. There's your order. But, have a plan.
Yeah. Unlike a lot of the Disney parks, if you're hopscotching about, it's a lot of steps. So again, it's thinking about what you want to do, what you want to see, the rides you want to hit, and laying your day out that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And first hour, last hour for Universal parks, that's when you have the lowest wait times if you haven't gotten the Express Pass, because you can't afford to. So keep that in mind, because that's when you're going to want to hit some rides. So you're going to plan out your morning. You're going to have a nice If you want to wander and shop, it's the bulk of the midday, or back a nap. And then the last hour of the day is when you're going to try to hit anything you missed during the day. So make sure you have a plan. And of course, I already mentioned it. Make sure you have the app.
The app is very important.
It's going to give you your wait times. And what Universal does do is you can go into a wait time for a ride and say, tell me when this ride is at 30 minutes.
Oh, I remember that.
And it will ding and tell you when it's at 30 minutes. It never dinged because I put it for an hour for Hagrid's and it never got there.
Never got there.
You're going to mobile order from your app. It's not as widespread as it is at Disney, but most of the quick service now have mobile ordering, and all the restaurants at Epic have it. At Epic, you want to order before you sit down and then scan where your table is once you sat down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understanding the weird stuff, I think we've hit most of that. The wands don't fit in the lockers. You will get soaked on water rides. And if you're in Epic or you got face painting in City Walk, know that you will not be able to drink alcoholic beverages after you've done so.
Yeah, it also messes with some of the facial recognition.
Right, so that you may get stopped because now they're using facial recognition at all the turnstiles.
Yep.
So when you get your tickets online, you submit a photo and through the app, and that's how you get in the parks.
Yeah, there's a little comparison every day.
A little comparison every day. So Universal and Disney are both theme parks, but they're very different theme parks. Universal in many ways is easier than Disney, but it's not easier than Disney, especially now that it's 3 parks. You still have to plan. You still have to have an idea of what you want to do, what park you want to hit one day, what day. You're almost always going to have a park to park, at least for Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, so you can take the Hogwarts Express back and forth between the two. So you don't want to just be winging it.
Oh, and by the way, the Hogwarts Express, there's a different show in both directions.
Well, yeah, one's going to Hogwarts, one's leaving Hogwarts.
And it's fantastic. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. So when you're planning your Universal day, just make sure you've thought about exactly what you want to do and any ups or downs that you may think you have, or if you're going to take a break that day, especially if you're staying at park and it's June or July, you're going to need a break from the sun. Make sure you know the park hours. They very often don't stay open as late as the Disney parks. They're not going to stay open until 11. They very often close.
No, they're going to close like around 9.
Yeah, they close around 9. And at Christmas time that year, they were closing at 7, remember?
They did the big show. They did the big show on the castle at 8:30.
And then they closed.
And then, yeah.
Yep. And at Christmas time, they did the parade, and then they closed. And now they have the evening parade, sensational. Anyway.
I'm just going to sit here and listen to you butcher that.
Yeah, well, it's like cinema and sensational squished together into a word that didn't exist before. And then they have a lagoon show. So it's, you just got to keep that in mind. Though the parks at night are absolutely beautiful, especially Epic.
Yeah, Epic Universe is dramatic at night. Even more so in some ways than the new area at Epcot.
Yeah, which is very beautiful.
Which is gorgeous in its own right. Maybe a little more coordinated.
Yeah.
That's what I would give Epic. And just phenomenal.
And
phenomenal.
When you're planning your days, Epic has a lot more downtime area and the whole...
Yeah, to a degree.
Siesta Park area to just wander and kind of decompress if you need to. In the other 2 parks, you very much want to either go into the kids area or you want to go for a stroll through City Walk. There's plenty of places to eat. It is definitely a 4 or 5 day trip. I'm like in the parks. So if you want a rest day.
Right, but that's why I was saying what I was saying.
Yep.
7 nights, 8 days.
Yeah. And if you have...
with that day off.
Yeah, with the day off.
Because you know what I would do with that day off?
What would you do with the day off?
I would go to Disney Springs.
You would too. And something to
Come
think
on,
about.
I'm in Orlando.
No.
I have to at least get my mouse on for a day.
Yeah. I think the last one we took our day off from Universal Parks and we went to Flower and Garden.
That's true. We did.
Yeah, we did. And now that we have 3 parks, something to think about is if you're at Universal and you have, especially if you have a family of 4, because I find the money-making breakpoint for express passes is think about a split stay.
Yep.
Spend 1 or 2 nights in one of those 3, Hard Rock, Portofino, or Royal Pacific. Spend 1 or 2 nights there so you get your express passes in. And then transfer to Endless Summer. You'll end up spending the same amount of money as if you spent the whole week at Cabana Bay. Or go down on Cabana Bay, whatever the case may be, but get your express pass in there for free. Also remember that from August 2nd or something like that, when Halloween Horror Night starts, through November 1st, Wednesday through Sunday, Universal Studios closes at 5 p.m. because Halloween Horror Nights is that evening. So if you want to stay late at Universal Studios, you're going on a Sunday or a Monday. It's the only 2 nights. No, Monday or Tuesday. It's the only 2 nights Halloween Horror Nights does not exist.
Again, it's going on the website. It's doing the apples to apples comparison.
Yeah. Yep. Do you have anything else?
Do I have anything else?
Yeah. Any questions? Did I confuse you at all?
I mean, I'm very, very fond of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the Universal parks a lot.
Yeah.
We were going to do, well, you had an idea for a podcast that we haven't done yet, which I'm dreading doing, where, I have to sit there and I have to choose between Disney or Universal. And I am not willing to do that. I am not. And it's not, it's not simply because we have, very, very strong ties with somebody who is a mover and a shaker there. It's a fantastic series of parks, just from top to bottom, and the places where we've stayed have been fantastic. We'd do it again.
Yeah, and it has just as much memories for us as Disney does in many ways. Where we've been to Disney more often. On our honeymoon, we spent a day at Universal Studios, the OG, a year after it opened. We were at Islands of Adventure, I think, 6, 7 months after it opened. Rob helped build Cat in the Hat and Carousel. Friends of Jeff had something to do with the Hulk, but I can't remember what.
Twister. No,
Twister.
He just rode.
Twister and Twister. Then whatever the other one was. Anyway.
Twister was fun.
So we've always had an attachment to these parks and, trips with the kids when they were little and when they were a little bigger, and then our big holiday trip. So Universal Studios in many ways has just as much of a special place in our hearts as Disney does.
And the trip that we went to Epic Universe.
That was just amazing.
Unbelievable. And the more I think about it, I guess maybe it was 2 full days. It's like 3 partial days that we were bouncing around.
You had 4 days.
4 days.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw everything.
No, because we didn't do full days because we were taking it easy. Right. We were really looking at everything. We weren't just walking past anything.
No, didn't walk past a thing.
But we went into Isle of Burke every day.
Yeah. Just an amazing trip.
Yeah.
That I'll remember forever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Forever. Okay, folks.
I really don't have much more to add. I'm going to hunt around for that piece of paper that I'm supposed to read from at the end of this.
Okay, go for it.
Well, actually...
Do I start?
You have to start.
I don't have the piece of paper.
Here's where our plan falls to the ground. You know what? Hang on a second, folks. I'm just going to take this. You just sit there.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to The Adventures of Two Gray Mice, please leave a rating and review wherever you listen. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Gray Mice Podcast. You can send any questions about anything or planning your next vacation to twograymice@gmail.com. Until next time, I am Rob.
And I'm Meg.
And
we're Two Gray Mice. So long, folks. Have a good week.
A better week than we're having. Bye-bye.